Open auto racks are on display today as video 8 of the product comparison series will get started. This is Dylan Hubbard of RWTX. Open auto racks are not seen today on the railroads, but they were common about 40-50 years ago. We're going to check out the differences and similarities of all the HO models available. So let's get rolling. To get started on the 89-foot flat car open auto racks, here's the AccuReady, which has got metal wheels and AccuMate plastic couplers. It's got some detail and just a basic model, but a good model with good weight as well. Watch out for the little bit of weight that I have on that scale already. This is the Walthers mainline rack. Also got a little bit of detail added. Metal wheels, metal couplers. Got some good weight as well with the metal body, as we'll see here. It's the heaviest one. Here's Bachmann. I debated even keeping this in the video, but I thought maybe people could get some good information. Plastic everything, really thick plastic everywhere. I just hope you use this as an opportunity to see what the difference in the models are. And then here's the Genesis model. It's got rotating bearing caps, which we'll check out later. I like the rope or cable detail going along the top. It's got the McHenry couplers as well. Here's the weight. Here are the coupler heights. While that's going through, I'd like to take this chance to say please like this video and please subscribe to keep seeing what new videos I can come out with. Next, we will look down at the sides of these cars. The main thing that I want to point out with this view is just how thick the plastic is on these different models. As you can see, Bachmann and the Genesis are just on complete different ends of the spectrum. And then we'll zoom in, and here's a look at the, you can kind of see the ends of the cars with the couplers and even the decals. Decals on the top three cars are very good, but this Genesis car has some very, very small decals that are easy to read. So previously I had someone say that I need to check the wheels on these cars, which I had kind of couldn't believe that I forgot to do that. So here's what we got going on here. Bachmann, Genesis, and the Walthers car all seem to do just fine with this. But the last car is the AccuReady, which it seemed like the flanges were just too thick to fit down into this gauge. But either way, it didn't seem to quite fit just right. But I'll let you decide. Up next, we're going to check out things in the backyard. So this first curve is an 18-inch curve. And really everything we did well except for this AccuReady, which it stopped very abruptly. And Walthers did fine. Genesis is not a good roller, I found out. And so I kind of had to push it in order to get it to go anywhere. It seems like it was fine with the curve, though. Then we skipped out to a 22-inch curve. And the AccuReady did better, as you'll see coming up here. There it went. And then the Walthers did just fine, and the Genesis, I'm sure I had to push it still, but it's went a little further. Here we're just going to look at how far they roll. Bachmann did pretty well. I guess there's just not a whole lot of resistance going on with it. AccuReady did the best. Be sure to look at the graphic to kind of get an idea where all these landed. And then the Genesis was very slow. So now we'll look at the packaging. This Bachmann car, I don't have packaging for it, but it's probably something similar to that AccuReady. Here's the main line, just basic mainline packaging with two pieces of plastic sandwiching the car together with that small piece of film. Comes in great shape, nothing wrong with the car. Also has the parts for the ramps on the back, which we'll look at here in a minute. And here's the AccuReady. Even more basic packaging, but it gets the job done. Little instructions as well. Here's Genesis. It comes packaged like a locomotive. Also has the piece of foam that kind of sits on the top level to keep everything nice and tight in there. So it's It's, you know, the best packaging. Also comes with extra bearing caps, which again, we will check out here in just a couple minutes. This foam, of course, then wrapped around with the thin film. Even got some things to go on the wheels. A lot of packaging going on with this thing. So now I want to show you the ends, and look out for the Walthers versus the AccuReady and how it has the ramps. The Genesis does not have ramps either. And what that's going to show you in these next couple segments is without the ramps, it's very easy to get the vehicles in the second, or, you know, in the bottom level. But when those ramps are on there, you cannot get them, which is in this case, I had to put cars in that AccuReady. Here's the Bachmann. I had to put smaller cars in the middle layer, which that's not a big deal. But then these next two, I put trucks, you know, put as big a vehicle as I possibly could in each level, which I think looks pretty cool. Then this Genesis is the same. You really get them loaded down. They're all the same width, so any sort of car that's HO scale will fit. So you don't have to worry about that. But they look great. All right, last segment of the day, and it's those rotating bearing caps I promised you about. Genesis is the only one that has them of these 4 models, but a good detail to add and something fun to look at. So that's all we got for the Open Auto Racks video. Before we get to the comparison graph, a couple of notes I want to make. I don't really think that these cars would do that good on anything less than a 22-inch curve. I know that I showed that they can go on an 18-inch curve, but I think it'd be best just to avoid that if you can, just because they're so long. Also, I know these cars came in under the recommended 7.5 ounces. If you were to add cars, that would definitely improve that and get it, you know, pretty much right where you need it to go. And then one other note is I didn't point out that the railings, whether that be they're trying to make it rope or cable that goes across the top of the Genesis car, that is made of some super thin plastic, which is very fragile, and I'm sure it'd be very easy to break. I'm surprised I didn't break it while messing with these cars. So beware of that if you get one of those Genesis cars. Now we'll take a look at the graph. You know, price and details, those seem to be pretty self-explanatory, as well as the packaging. The durability for the Bachmann and Genesis, I kind of already mentioned with the Genesis with that, with the thin plastic, but Bachmann is, you know, it's durable because it's just nothing but plastic, although it's thick plastic, but it's still plastic. So that's kind of why I give it a good but a bad score at the same time. In terms of operations, it's kind of hard to nail down the best one because they all had things going on that was different. Like the Accu rail, it didn't really roll that well around the curve. Genesis didn't roll well at all. That's why I got the worst score. Mainline had the best. It had metal couplers. It rolled decent. The only thing it had against it was the fact that you had to have put those ramps on. And then availability, the Mainline was the easiest to find by far. And then the Bachmann and AccuReady, those are out of production, so that's why they're hard to come up with there. But in review, to look at this graph, and after messing with these cars for this video, I agree with this graph. I agree that the Mainline car would probably be my favorite. AccuRail, that was a pretty good car. Really, the only thing it's got going against it is the fact that it can't go around sharp curves, but that's not really a problem for me. Genesis is really nice. The fact that it doesn't roll well really bothers me. Maybe there's some adjustments that could be made, possibly. I did adjust it a little bit, and it didn't really seem to fix anything. But you know, maybe someone else could figure that out. But that's all I have for the day on this video. I hope you can like this video, and maybe you got something useful out of it. Please subscribe as well. I'll get more of these coming out. My apologies that it took so long to get this one out, but hopefully I can get them out a little quicker next time. I appreciate you guys' time today, and I'll see you next time.